Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wedding Film School live show. It is Thursday at 1 o'clock Eastern, and today we've got a special show for you. I am joined not only by my usual co-host, Jay McCutcheon, but also by Ray Roman. What's up, guys? How are you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing, Ray?
Great. Can you guys see me?
We can see you. Yeah.
We
Oh,
can.
I thought it was going to be like a 5-minute thing.
Yeah, we were gonna, but then he
been
just
going.
didn't do it. So now we're doing this, I guess.
Didn't we do the countdown? Am I wrong?
No. It's all good.
No, I thought I had like a 5-minute break, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
How about
Starting off strong. My bad.
you go back in the hole? Me and Bobby are gonna talk.
We'll talk for 5 minutes, and then we'll bring you on.
All right.
Anyway,
cool.
hey, so Bobby, in a little bit we're gonna introduce Ray, but I'm excited about this little season at Wedding Film School because we got a couple things that are kicking.
We do.
We got one thing I was going to let everybody know about. We are launching a new channel, kind of targeted just if you're new to wedding filmmaking and you're looking to just get started, it's going to be called Wedding Film 101. And this channel is going to still have our gear and still have our BTS videos, but the other channel is going to be much more. Why don't you tell everybody kind of what we're going to be doing with that channel?
Yeah, so the idea is to really just separate out, if you are maybe more advanced filmmaker, you might be more on this channel. Not that, if you're newer, you should still watch the BTS for sure. But what we found is, a lot of our viewer base doesn't need the basic training necessarily. And so we want to kind of separate those out, give people a really concise, place to watch the content that's most directed at them. So Wedding Film 101 is going to be a lot of more entry-level stuff. It's going to be some basics, some camera basics, some editing basics, things really, really broken down and really simplified. And then on the main channel, like Jay said, we're still going to have our behind the scenes, which we do multiple times a year, let you follow along at some real weddings. Tons of learning opportunities in those. And then our gear reviews, you'll still see. You'll also still see this live show on the main channel. And then, of course, we can't forget our other channel, the Wedding Film School Show, which is where our podcast lives. If you are one of the people who likes to watch your podcast, which I don't know about you, Jay, I personally am. I think a lot of the podcasts that I watch,
I prefer video too, but that's just
yeah.
Me, but
I mean, a lot of times, let's be fair, I just have it on in the background. But
yes,
I don't know. It's the way I do it.
We are also going to be kind of revamping the podcast this season. We just dropped our first episode of the season Tuesday. It was a shorter episode. We're just talking about the next thing I was going to bring up is we have a retreat coming up. And if you haven't heard about it, is it in comments? Do we have it in comments or in the description?
I can put it in there.
Yeah, why don't we put the link in the comments? But we're doing a retreat. Ray Roman's going to be there. Adam Grumbo's going to be there. Me, obviously, you, Bobby, and Jared will be there. And, of course, a bunch of other filmmakers. And it's going to be a little bit different, I think. And so we'll talk about it in a little bit later. But if you would like to do that, there's a link in there. It's going to be February 19th to the 22nd. If you want to come hang out with us in Boston at a luxury property and a little bit of a different kind of vibe. We're not going to like a campground like a bunch of other retreats and conventions. So if you want to come and hang out,
we're doing it up.
We're doing it up. We're just, my thought was like, it came out of this, somebody saying like, oh, 2023 is such a brutal season. I need some time to recharge and get ready to go for 2024. So we wanted to create like an event that wouldn't be just like exhausting to people, but they would show up and get a little bit of clarity, like we're calling it clarity, but also have some fun. And we might even hit the casino, guys.
Wow.
I
haven't been to a casino and
I
guess I was in Vegas.
Head over to Encore. But we got some good food planned. We're definitely getting tacos. And we're going bowling, but also we got just a bunch of time to chill.
The classic Boston tacos, right?
Classic Boston tacos.
Yeah.
But anyway, why don't we get to what people are here for, which is reviewing films. Let's bring Ray on. How you doing, Ray? Like we said before, hi.
The dry run's done.
Yes.
We're live.
Hold on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you sound great, Ray.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Looking forward to this little session.
Yeah, so hopefully we're not too brutal on people, but I think at the end of the day, it's with love, right, Ray? We want to help people get better, make better films.
Yeah, I mean, when I review these films, it's like I'm only mentioning the stuff that needs improvement, but it doesn't mean like the entire thing's a train wreck. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna focus on the good. I'm gonna focus on the bad. So if they can kind of take from that, I'm sure this can work out really good.
I like your style, my friend. I like your style.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Jay and Ray, their names rhyme and they're cut from the same cloth in that way.
Yes.
Let's do it.
I love it. So yeah, guys, we will do this a little bit differently. When we have Ray here, we want to utilize his time as much as possible. So we want to get to as many films as we can. So we are going to keep things on the shorter side. And then, yeah, we'll kind of follow a similar pattern, but watching a little bit less of the films, trying to power through. And if you're still trying to submit, I will post that link in the comments in just a second. But first, I will announce or present or whatever our first film. Are you ready for that, Jay?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
All right. So it's going to come from Joel Vega Films. And the information we were given, shot on a Sony A7S III and A7 IV. Very sunny for the ceremony. But overall, it was a good day, and it's kind of a highlight ceremony teaser. And I believe we're watching the highlight.
I like how people always say, overall, it was a good day.
Yeah. Overall,
Overall, not a total disaster. This is the film, correct?
Yes.
Great. Okay, guys. So here we go. So Ray, typically what we're going to probably do is definitely check out the intro. Definitely at least see some ceremony coverage and some portrait work, and then the outro. But if there's anything you want to see, Ray, let me know, and I will make sure to go to it. All right? So here we go.
All right.
I'll probably need to get rid of this annoying screen over my screen.
Okay. Mario.
All right, can you pause it for a second?
My heart,
Yes.
my love. We're getting.
All right, so I mean, the first thing that sticks out is there's too much wasted time. Kind of like she starts talking, and then it cuts to the invite, and then it's just kind of like it's feeling dead. And if this is a promo piece that somebody's gonna, I'm sure they want to market themselves with this. You can't waste time. Like literally these first 10, 15, 20 seconds, you got to be hitting these people in the face with something that's engaging, something that's really, really interesting. Like these cuts back and forth from the ceremony. It's like, it's nothing, it means nothing. The first shot was cool. It's kind of like a little bit comical. I wish the photographer hadn't gotten in there, but, like I'm waiting, like, okay, like, where's it coming? Like, where's the next big slap in the face? And I'm not seeing it. The next shot that I'm seeing is a shot with a mic stand in the background. So right away, there's not a lot of attention to detail in the edit or the shooting. So like you got to be very mindful of these little things that you may not think is a big deal. It's a big deal. Like, look at this shot here. I can see the mic stand. That's hitting me in the face, right? And the shot, I feel like the angle of this dress is not great. I'm looking at her fingers right there, and they don't look attractive. So I'm telling you right now, like, you got to be really careful with things that look unflattering. And a bride might find that, the little wrinkles in her hand and things like that. I would be very careful with close-up shots like that. Like, I'd rather be like medium wide of the hands, unless she just has really beautiful, well-manicured hands. This shot looks great.
Yeah,
but that other shot where the knuckles were all wrinkled up, it's just a lot of attention to detail. Like here, the composition is kind of flaky. I'm seeing a lot of cutbacks to the ceremony. I don't know about that. These are all fine. This looks a little bit underexposed. My main point with this film is they really have to take advantage of the front end of the film, because that's what most people are going to be watching.
Well, especially when it's 8 minutes long.
especially when it's 8 minutes long. I wouldn't even post something that's 8 minutes long because nobody's ever going to watch it. But if you are going to post something that's 8 minutes long, you better make sure like it's cracking like the entire time, or they're just going to tune out. Especially like if the front end is just too slow and there's just not a lot there to keep somebody engaged. For a film, it's great. I'm sure they loved it.
Why don't we check out this transition, Ray, from this? I think it's transitioning from like a slower part of the piece to like a little bit more energy, and see how this feels.
In you, I find strength. In you, I find peace. I was the uninformed optimist when it came to our sweet Lola. And despite some hesitations, you led with your better angels.
I'm wondering where the content is. But this is also their longer films, so I can't judge this the same way I'm going to judge like a teaser. So, it is supposed to be a little bit longer, but I would never have a shot like that for that long. There's got to be more content. There's some shooting stuff that could be done better. A lot of underexposed dark shots. So, there's not a lot of like right here. They're just completely underexposed.
Well, I wanted to ask you how you feel about this, Ray. So this sequence, I did a little intelligence on this piece beforehand.
Yeah.
This right here at the end. So it's really a 6-minute video with this tagged on to the end. So I want to hear how you feel about this. Could this be done cool? Could this be done not cool?
Mario, always wear shorts. You have great legs.
Great cow. Great cow. I love you. Congratulations, you guys.
So we don't need to hear it all, but what are your feelings on this?
One thing with me, I never dictate style. So like if this is their style of work, I don't even mess with that because everybody's style should be a little bit different from each other. And I also understand like culture. So maybe this person that submitted this, maybe they're in like Spain or something like this, where like it's expected that they see like guests kind of like saying this stuff to the camera. So I don't know. I know that I would never do it. But if they are going to do some stuff like this, I do feel like, the attention to detail should be consistent throughout the film. And like the filmmaker already knows that they're going to be going around to the guest and getting these messages. They should be thinking about lighting, because this, shooting in an environment where they're just dark with a bright light behind them from the stage or something, it just it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Or you can just do it like that and actually have their face hit by the light.
Something. You can throw some kind of light. It doesn't have to be a harsh light, but at least something soft where it's just, it doesn't look amateurish, where it's just underexposed and just not great framing. This just looks like, somebody didn't put a lot of thought into this.
One thing I like about you, Ray.
That's just my personal take.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with the well wishes and all that stuff because, I'll be honest with you, like we get caught up a lot with our own creativity and we lose sight of the things that the clients would appreciate a lot more than what we would appreciate, right? So I feel like a client seeing their close friends and family giving them wishes or whatever, I think they would dig it, depending on the culture and things like that. The only thing that I would improve upon is just, the lighting, the scenario, just put a little bit more thought process into the actual shooting of this stuff.
Yeah, I think just whatever you do, even if you have to do it, right? Whatever you do with your camera, when you're working with your clients, in your editing, whatever it is, even if you think it's like, oh, this is kind of lame that I have to do this. I think the challenge is always like, can I take something that maybe other people would look at and be like, this is dumb, this is lame, this is weird, and turn it into something cool? Like, that's a challenge I always have. Is like, okay, well, how do I make this cool? How do I make this something I'm really proud of? And I would encourage you to like, don't just mail it in with any part of your filmmaking. Like, even if it's something like that, like I'm listening to like, is it cool that it's on the dance floor and there's a ton of noise in the background? Could we do it better so they can actually hear what they're saying if we're going to do it? Like little things like that stick out to me. Anyway, Bobby, what did you think? You didn't get to see the whole film, but anything you kind of think about it before we move on to the next film?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just that I would echo what Ray started out with, which was kind of talking about that intro. And like now that we've seen more of the film, like I think there are some great shots. I think it is a beautiful day. I think there is attention given to, on the planner's part or whoever on like dressing the day up and the reception and like the details. And there was definitely, some decent money put into this day, and it's a beautiful place and whatever. And so, yeah, I think just like highlighting some of that more on the front end. And then Ray, like you said, some of that attention to detail was really throwing me off. I know we all saw that light stand early on. I like the thing about the hands. I'm glad we had two different shots to kind of compare. Like this one is probably a no-go. And then that more medium shot was a lot more, beautiful looking. So
I did have one thing that I was going to...
that intro with more energy and more stuff shown off early on.
I was going to ask you about, what did you guys think about how, like, a lot of the daylight stuff looked well balanced, but every time they got into the shadows, it was blue as anything. I saw it a bunch of times in the film. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, definitely.
I think you can see it, maybe the quality a little bit better than what's online. I'm not sure.
Yeah, for sure. So I'll just tell you that was the case. My one bit of feedback is, make sure your highlights have a consistent quality. Like if you're trying to say the sun is orange, then the sun has to be orange. If you're saying the sun is blue, then the sun has to be blue. But like when you have like a film where you're kind of like taking people in a lot of different environments, and it just feels like whiplashy in terms of how you're handing color. So, but I
think some of that, Jay, just to echo, I know they use two different cameras, and I wonder if that's us even seeing that.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of think based on what I'm seeing, they just didn't. I think they just held it on.
Yeah, 50, I mean, it's a.
I think they were just on 5,600 kelvins all day.
Yeah.
And when they were in good light, it looked good. When they went into the shadows, it was blue. And you got to be riding that kelvins, or at least something. That matches. Okay, what's next? Let's move on to the next film. Good job, Ray. That was good feedback to that person.
Cool.
All right, up next we have a film from 4 Point Wedding Films, and we have
Joel and Courtney is what I have.
Yeah. I don't know how this person got in there because there's no film there. My bad. So this is Joel and Courtney. And they said this is our last wedding of 2023, filmed in Australia in December. Some Super 8 and then XT4s. Would love some feedback. Past reviews have helped so much.
I like this. I like these people's style a lot, Ray. I think it's very different than what you do, but I think you're going to dig what they do. They do good stuff.
Again, I would be careful with those legs. Like I was seeing bruises on her leg and kind of like cellulite.
You are my best friend and the only person
you just got to be really careful with the bride. Like the groom, I don't care, but the bride, you got to make sure everything is just looking really beautiful and flattering.
Without you, I wouldn't have the relationships I have and be the man I am standing in front of you.
For those who don't know, Michael has been looking forward to my vows the most out of the whole wedding day. Because when he's asked me in the past why I love him, it's been met with answers like, because you're funny, or because you make me laugh, or more recently, you'll have to wait for the wedding.
Do you want to move forward a little, Ray?
Yeah, lighting's really bad for the ceremony. They had to know they were going to shoot backlit. So
let's check it out then.
I feel like a little more thought process should have gone into the shoot, but it is what it is. Really dark stuff here, but I don't know if that's their style. I mean, I guess styles are styles. Yeah, composition and angles. This is not a style. This is just, if I'm being honest, this is just this is bad shooting, bad composition, bad lighting. I'm not seeing like a good style here, and I understand the dark and moody styles, but the dark and moody styles are still well thought out. Things like that. So in watching this, I can just tell like this is nice. Like this is the first time during the ceremony that so it's not a style thing. those shots were just bad.
I think a lot of people, Ray, do you find this to be the case that a lot of people kind of don't take ceremony coverage very seriously in terms of like getting banger shots from all their cameras?
They need to be consistently good. And listen, like it's not like we can control the ceremony. The only thing that we can control is where we're at. You know, our positions, our angles. Have we assessed the lighting, what it's going to look like, and things like that. So there's a lot of thought that needs to go into it before the actual ceremony starts. And it seems like with this wedding, they kind of caught on too late, because now they have a really nice angle, really nice lighting, but like those initial shots, maybe they were caught off guard or they were just unprepared. But yeah, so
people are also, I think, nervous to crank the ISO to get the exposure right, because they're worried about being pixel peepers and whatnot. And to me, it's like, I don't know how you feel about this, Bobby. If I get into a bad lighting scenario, I just make it look bright, like until it looks well exposed, and I'll deal with the noise later.
Yeah. So, or the background, if it's just gonna be white, it's just gonna be white.
I just encourage people.
I agree, like there are ways around
honestly,
that.
Yeah. If you guys listen, I see like the most screwed up situations, and if I didn't plan for it way ahead of time, I'd get caught with my pants down and just wouldn't look good. And I'd be, I'd be going crazy at the last minute trying to figure out angles and compositions and lighting and all that. So I'm one to definitely like.
But you can see right here, Ray, like when they're in a better situation, it's great coverage. Well, like when they're in a better situation.
Outside.
Well, I think some of this too, I guess I have two things. One, some of this too on the ceremony, we see, or it's possible that they moved halfway through, right? And they said, oh, well, this looks bad, we got to move. But it's also possible that they had 3-4 cameras running and they had that angle the whole time, but for whatever reason, they chose to show the other.
Well, at the beginning, their backs were turned.
That shot there of that guest was beautiful. The lighting was beautiful. It was nice and soft. I think this is just their style with the old film look or whatever. This is nice. They picked up their angles later on into the ceremony, but I mean, you got to nail it from the get-go.
I think what it was when the couple walked in, right? His back was turned towards the window facing her, and she was facing, and nobody looked good. I mean, and then once they both turned, they had that nice side light, so it looks great. But at the beginning, the lighting was bad, and you just have to. The adjustment could have been made, I think, faster.
Yeah.
Anyway, I dig all this Super 8 stuff for this coverage right here. I think it looks cool. I like.
What's the music like? Play the music a little bit. I want to hear the music.
Okay, let's get it.
Michael, we are incredibly lucky to take on life together side by side. I cannot wait to see our love and relationship evolve as we take on the rest of our lives together. I love you and cannot wait to be your wife.
That's good composition. That's an interesting shot.
Yeah, I mean, they do good storytelling. I would just say they just need improvement with the shooting aspect.
Yeah, and I would say anticipation of what you're going to be watching.
Exactly.
What you're going to be walking into. You gotta know.
That's what it's all about, is anticipating.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a couple of questions on the same topic here.
All right, let's do it.
Basically asking, so we're talking about that ceremony setup, that ceremony situation. So in a backlit situation like that, do you guys bring a key light, or do you bring in lights and flood them with light up front to match that background, or what would you do, assuming you knew in advance? Let's say you toured the venue and you knew a day ahead of time.
Yeah.
All right.
I just had a wedding. I just had a wedding last weekend, and because of the rain, they put a tent up on the beach. And you know how that goes. All the sides are like all backlit and washed out and stuff. And then they had like 3,400 Kelvin lighting inside, right? So I always have lights up. you know, if it's outside and it's anywhere near sunset, I'm always going to have the lights up. These days I'm using the apertures, which work great. So I'll have a couple of those set up, and it worked great for that one. So whether it's a daylight situation or a tungsten situation, I've got the lights set up, and they're going to give me like some nice fill if I get in a trickier situation. And you know, the other thing too is lens choice. You know, like I have found, like, if you have blown out backgrounds, throw a long lens on there and try to find something that you can kind of use as a canvas in the background. And it's going to look a hell of a lot better than like a wide lens. You know, a wide lens is just going to look really crummy in a backlit situation. But if you get that tight lens on there, and even if you do, like Jason said, you can crank up the ISO a little bit just to help fill the shadows if you need. It works out great, and I never really have to crank the ISO too much.
That situation, I would have blown out the background.
Yeah, it just depends what you're shooting on, right? Like what your lens choice is, the lighting condition, and all that. So all this stuff has to come into play when you're thinking about how you're going to shoot it, because you already know, like, you should know what it's going to look like when it's showtime, you know. And if you don't, you're not on the ball. But you got to think about this stuff ahead of time.
I light a lot of ceremonies. I shoot a lot. If I was Ray, I would light all of them, because,
you know, like here, I don't know, like, if I look, this portraits that they're doing where the photographer's flash is popping off the whole time, I just don't really understand why the videographer couldn't just let the photographer get his flash shot, and then a second later say, hey, guys, just do that again, but without the flash. You know, and now he's going to have a clean shot. So I just don't understand, like, why they didn't take the extra, you know, a few seconds to just let the photographer get his shot, and then they just repeat the shot. You know, that kind
I
of
kind of like
shot,
I kind of like the flash going off. It reminds me of paparazzi.
Hey, listen, like I said, I don't dictate styles. I just know what looks kind of crummy to my eyes.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do too. Right?
Yeah, it just depends. Like, to somebody else's eyes, maybe that paparazzi stuff looks great. Just like I don't like the Super 8 stuff, so, you know. But
I would say you better have that direct light on them, though, and you better, like, finish the look. That's all. Like,
yeah,
if you're gonna.
But I mean, like, this whole thing is just like, I feel like there's 3-4 different styles mixed in here. But you know, if it sells, it sells.
Well, Super 8
I mean, here compositions.
Super 8 is tough to integrate in a way that like we do it. I like Super 8, but it's definitely, like, there are times like I don't want it to feel gimmicky. You don't want it to feel. You want it to, like, have a particular purpose in the film. Yeah. Anyway,
I think that's my only thing that I would bring up. I don't dislike. I mean, we already went over a lot of stuff, but I don't dislike Super 8 inherently. But I feel like this comes up every time, or oftentimes when we review a film on here, Jay. And what I find is that the Super 8 is used, like, I get it. You're filming some Super 8 and then you're filming the backup on, you know, your XT4 or whatever, because it's film. It's a little finicky. Exposure can be tough. Whatever.
I mean, I feel like you can still do Super 8, but have, you know, like, have some kind of thought process in terms of the lighting.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I just
have
don't
to be
like that we see the same stuff. Like, it's like this, like we see the shot and then we see it again in Super 8. I'm just like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, this is what I'll say about the way you guys do Super 8. And this is just my opinion.
I mean, this stuff is just underexposed. You know, this from a technical standpoint, I don't care what your style is. It is just technically bad. You know, so look, styles are styles, but, like, technical stuff is technical stuff, and it's either going to be good or bad. And I've seen Super 8 stuff that looks really, really good. So, you know, what I'm seeing here, it needs some work, you know, from a technical standpoint. You know, composition, lighting, you know, there's thought process, compositions, you know, definitely needs some more thought process. But like I said, like, the storytelling is good. I just feel like, you know, more thought process into the shooting would go a long way into making this thing look more polished. You know, this thing can look very polished, even though it's got this more classic kind of style vibe, right? To my eyes, it looks very amateurish. It is what it is. I mean,
and I will say, I think I like it more than Ray likes it. But
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said more thought process into the shooting.
I'm saying I think more highly of the shooting than Ray, probably. But I would agree that there are some spots where you could probably push that intentionality up to another level. And like for instance, I don't know that it would be appropriate to light that ceremony. That's like a tiny little church. It's a basic like looking ceremony. They don't want a bunch of lights up. But I probably wouldn't.
You can't think this is a good shot.
Huh?
Sorry.
No, I didn't think it was good.
You can't think that.
I would just crank my ISO up. I wouldn't light it, is what I'm saying. I would crank my ISO up.
So, yeah.
And so I would, all I would say is like, I think there's an okay line between like being a little less polished, but when you're doing the less polished thing, you got to be super intentional. Like everything needs to look like it's on purpose. And I think that's where we're kind of like, where I would 100% agree with Ray is like, even if we could debate whether like, oh, that was cool, like the leg shot. I'm like, I think they would like the leg shot. I think she would like it. I would probably think it's fine. I wouldn't for certain clientele, but I think this couple would like it. That being said, I think there's no excuse for underexposed shots. Everything should be exposed properly. And I agree with that. So,
but there's underexposed all throughout the film.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Like from a technical standpoint, it needs work.
Yep. And if you feel like you don't have a camera that will support shooting that organic style that you want to shoot without lights, you got to get better gear. So,
I mean, look, like I said at the beginning, I don't point out the good, and there's a lot of good that I'm seeing. I just focus on the bad stuff that can kind of be improved upon. But it's not to say like I don't like the film. Like I like the film, but I'm just kind of pointing out the things that, to my eyes, seem, like they could use some work.
All right. Anything you want to add to that before we move on and talk about the retreat a little bit, Bobby?
I do not have anything. I think I brought up stuff as I was going, and I'm kind of more in chat. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm kind of more monitoring chat.
So Ray, we're doing something in a couple weeks, like 6 weeks. Having you out to Boston to a little retreat, and I was thinking like, who would bring the vibe that I'm trying to get at this event, which is a bunch of filmmakers, veteran people who are looking to have an honest conversation with somebody. And I was like, one of the people that most comes to mind is Ray Roman. And so I'm really excited to have you out for this event, Ray.
Yeah, me too. I love telling it like it is and just being very, very straightforward. And I love people that are going to come to this thing to just be like really open-minded, motivated, hungry. Like I feel like if you come to an event like this and you're just not open-minded to making some tweaks to whatever you're doing, and you're just not hungry enough to put in the work that it takes, and it doesn't take a lot of work. Depending on the individual, it just may be a few tweaks that they have to do. Some other people may need a complete overhaul, but you got to be open-minded to the overhaul. And, like I'll get some guys that'll say like, I can't change everything. I just don't have the funds right now. And I was just like, somebody like that, I just don't think is really serious about getting to the top, because you and I have been in this game a while, and you and I both know that like there's been situations on our journey where like we've been broke too. You know what I mean? Like we've all been there. Anybody that tells you that they haven't suffered a little bit in this game to reach the top, they're just straight up lying to you. It's never like an easy path for anybody. So, I hope you guys consider this retreat. It's going to be very brutally honest, but if you put in the work and you're willing to just wait a little bit, you don't have to wait a long time, depending on how hard you grind. But anybody can do this. I was just talking to a guy last night, and he was telling me about the guy in his hometown that's getting all the business. He's got all the planners all over him. And I said, you know what? Send me the link. I gotta see who this is and what they're doing, right? And they send me the link, and this guy is so beatable for anybody that just wants to put in a little bit of work.
Yeah,
they could smash this guy.
That's what I
right.
Like.
They could. I was looking at that guy like a target. I was just like, I would annihilate this guy, right? But I was looking at his presentation, and look, his presentation's clean enough. The website, it's clean enough. It looks the part, you know, and like he's putting the time in to say like, hey, where are your high-end vendor? And look, he's doing enough to get that across. But like, he's so easily beatable that the guy that I was talking to last night, if he would just put in the work, because when I went to his site and I went to his social media, it just looked like somebody that wasn't really taking it too serious.
Yeah.
You know, the guy that's popular in that market, he's taking it serious.
And I think,
but is he beatable? Yeah.
That's why you come to something like a retreat, because I think like the internet is not the place to have a real conversation. I'm sorry, world. It really isn't. Like the way to really grow is to get around greatness and get around people with high standards and who are like, I would never do that. Right. Or maybe you're doing awesome and you're just like, I'm beat up. I'm so tired. I just need perspective. I just need like a tweak I can make.
Listen, at this retreat, I will sit down with these people one-on-one and I will walk them through everything they need to do to get to the next level. The only thing that I can't control is their hunger level. You know what I mean? Like that internal fire, it's got to be there. Like these people have to be willing to outgrind everybody else. And if they're that kind of person that's willing to put that kind of commitment into their business, they're going to really benefit from this retreat. Like I promise them.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is you're going to actually, to offset all the brutal honesty, we're going to be staying at a 5-star hotel. You can bring your swimsuit, go swimming, take a little time to yourself. We're going to be around good people and a good environment. And so we're going to try to do the best of both worlds, which is put us, and I always say this, like, you cannot serve a market that you do not understand. And one of the biggest things I always tell like people, I want to work in luxury. And then it's like, let's go to this place. I'm not going to spend money on that hotel. All your clients would. All your clients would do it. All your clients would eat at that restaurant. All your clients would go like, it's not to say we are going to be exactly like our clients, guys, but that's part of like the thinking we always have internally with our company is get into the environments that your clients want to be in. Start understanding what they're like. If you want to work high-end luxury, you have to understand hospitality. You have to understand these things that our clients expect. Our clients expect to be treated the way that you are going to get treated at this property. And so that's part of why we did it at the property we were doing it at. And of course, we're filmmakers. So like I said before, we're going to be eating tacos. We're going to be going bowling. We're going to one of my favorite restaurants called Rochambeau and having a really good time. And we're going to have a great time. And we got some sponsors.
Hey, any lobster rolls? Any lobster rolls?
I was thinking about it. Okay, here let's do a live question.
We gotta have a lobster roll in Boston.
Well, it's more of a Maine thing, to be honest. But the oldest restaurant in America is in Boston, the Ye Old Union Oyster House. And I thought people would prefer the tacos. Do you think we should do like a Boston seafood dinner?
Bro, that's where it's at, man. Them lobster rolls are, and from Boston, let me tell you, like Maine, Boston, all that area is just like incredible lobster rolls. You can't get a lobster roll like that anywhere else in America.
No, that's true. That is true. So anyway, I got a special code for everybody. So Bobby's going to put in chat, and Ray, feel free to share this with everybody. If you want 10% off your ticket, just enter Ray on checkout, and you can come out, and we would love to see you. This is only going to be good for a few days. So I'd say 5 days, this 10% off. But code is Ray. Check out. We want to see you at Clarity 2024 in Boston. Yeah, it's exciting. So do you want to do some more films?
Hey, can you give me 10 seconds?
Yeah, 10 seconds. Go for it.
10 seconds.
Bobby, me and you are here. Whoa. How you doing, buddy? How you doing?
I'm good.
Very good.
I've got Jay, I've got a wedding on Saturday, and it is going to be like 2 degrees or something.
Oh yeah.
How about that?
I did a wedding 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That I will. This is my tease to everyone. I cannot talk about this wedding on the internet.
All right.
But if you one of the best parts about these kind of retreats, guys, is everybody actually telling real stories that they don't want documented on the internet about being in the event industry. And I have some stories from this wedding. So if you come, it was pretty out of this world. I'll say that. So anyway, what's our next film?
Next film is coming from Kyle Smith.
Who's gonna be there?
Looking forward to that.
If you want to come hang out with Kyle, he'll be with us.
Love it. Kyle says, long New Year's Eve day. Those are always fun. 2 shooters, Sony and Fuji. A couple loves the HBO show Succession, so I wanted to throw a little nod to the show in there with the intro being a mix between widescreen and 8mm style. Nothing actually shot on 8mm though. Long film. Color in the ceremony room was very yellow. And for the sake of time, play from start. Well, Kyle, I don't think we're doing this much today with Ray, but he said start to 3:40 and then 7:30 to the end. So interpret.
All right, play the beginning though. I want to see the first 20 seconds.
Definitely.
Yep.
Hi everybody. Let's see how I do here. Danielle, while it was always the easiest decision of my life. While it was always the easiest decision of my life to stand here before you today, I found it difficult to identify just the right words to prepare. Within only a few moments, it feels almost impossible to capture everything. Our laughs, our dreams, our challenges, and all the little moments that brought us here. I wish I could freeze time, not just to find the perfect words, but to savor this moment.
That photographer's bow tie is huge.
Yeah, this is too much dead time. Like the whole beginning of this thing is just, it needs work. Again, the thought process that goes into the shoot is critical. Lighting, composition, angles, lens selections, all this stuff. This is a very easy room to shoot, where they didn't have to get all these reflections of the photographer and all that and the bad lighting. So that would have been a very, very easy scenario to have, like, proper lighting.
Yeah, I definitely would have lit this.
Yeah, man, dude, like you got to light this stuff, right? You got to put the effort in, because it's really going to show in the edit and obviously in the delivery of the film.
So it looks like he's going to do like a little hype teaser thing. Why don't we check this out really quick? And the question I have for you is, should he have started the film with this instead?
It's going to be just fine. I promise. I'm about to get married. Does it feel real now?
I can tell you right away, absolutely, he should open the film.
It's the best day of my life.
Listen, pause it for a second. These films, whether you're doing an IG reel, a teaser trailer, whatever you want to call it, or even like this, like a highlight film, right? Like your final delivery. Remember, the beginning of the film and the ending of the film are the two most important areas of the film, right? Because the beginning of the film, you want to slap them in the face and keep them engaged. And then the ending of the film, you want to leave that with like a lasting impression, like, oh my God, this thing was incredible. So, you got to put a lot of thought process. And I really like that sequence right there. Like that would have really kept me a lot more engaged than the actual beginning of this film.
Yeah, let's keep going a little bit. Let's watch this whole little sequence. It's a little bit Succession-y.
When we inevitably grow and evolve, I vow to get to know each version of you and to fall in love with you over and over again. I promise to show you every day for the rest rest of our lives.
I do like the way like he's kind of like, instead of just a weird shot of like champagne in some ice, which I'm like, why are we showing that? He shows an action.
I got to tell you, man, like from this point on, it looks like a completely different film. You know, like I like it. You know, the beginning, I was just like, this is dreadful. But, you know, starting from the point that you showed me, that little montage, I would have started from there. I mean, it would have been phenomenal. I mean, of course, like there's technical things that could be done better, obviously, with the lighting and stuff. But, you know, the thought process and the editing and all that stuff really picked up at this point, you know, which I definitely like.
I can't believe they didn't do any florals in the aisle at this wedding. Like, that's what I'm looking at. It's like you're gonna do this big fancy wedding and then you don't have any florals in the aisle. This is freezing. So, yeah, no, I agree. And you know, obviously I'm pretty familiar with Kyle's work, and I would say I prefer just getting it going over having that. And maybe like if you want to have a little breathing room in the film where you have that longer sequence, you know, I tend to be like Jared, my business partner, Ray, is a lot more like boring. That's boring. Move on. That's boring. I can be a little bit like, let's let it breathe. Let's let it take its time. Like, I definitely appreciate that. But I think at the beginning of your film, I would agree that it probably would feel better to get into that other sequence quicker. Anyway, what else do you want to see in this film, Ray? You want to see when the party
is 7:20?
No, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yeah.
7:30.
Look, I understand the dark and moody stuff. I would say this, like, I don't know what the person that submitted this, I don't know what their goal is in the industry, whether it's kind of like sticking to the mid-market, mid-high maybe. But I will tell you this, like in the luxury and super luxury markets, if you're trying to kind of, you know, attract that, this is going to fall flat on its face, because that sector, the luxury, super luxury, they're all into this, you know, light and airy, you know, kind of overexposed kind of look. So, you know, this dark and moody stuff, I'm going to tell you right now, like they won't even look at it for the most part. You know, like your chances of scoring luxury, super luxury with this kind of dark and moody stuff, it's just not going to work. But it'll definitely work for like more of like mid-range, mid-high. You know, it's kind of like a niche thing, right? You know, but even with the dark and moody, I feel like they got a little bit lazy with the lighting. You know, so, you know, everything can be tweaked. I think it's a cool video. I think it's a cool video, especially starting from the point later on in the film that you started at. The beginning, I felt like they wasted a lot of time with, you know, with bad shots, bad lighting, all that. And it really wasn't getting me into the film at the beginning, but it definitely got me into the film later on.
All right. So yeah. That's, why don't we do one more film and then maybe see if we want to do some kind of last second ones before Ray goes, maybe some quick hits.
Yeah, like, we quick hit through a few.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun to do like just have Ray watch the first 30 seconds of your film and give his initial first impression and move on to the next one. So
love it.
Who's our final full?
So this one is Brent Austin Films, and this is shot on the FX30 with 3 filmmakers. In October, nice fall day. Groom did not want to be filmed, so first look and private vows were kept from the edit. That's interesting.
This is, I don't know why people submit films like that though. Like, it's, you're telling me you don't have anyway.
Well, we'll see.
Hopefully they rescue
we're not gonna
it.
watch the whole thing anyway. We can do 30 seconds of this one. That's fine.
Yeah.
Start here.
Yeah. The visuals look great.
Oh, sorry. It was on the audio.
I've got something that I will share on this.
Yeah, why don't we, Bobby? Why don't you kind of?
The thing that pops into my head when granted we watched what 30 seconds, 40 seconds to me, and we don't know a lot about it. We haven't gotten that far into the day, but Jay, this is something that we've talked about before, and this very much feels to me like fitting a day, a round day or a square day into a round hole or whatever. Like it feels like you're forcing this couple that's on like this farm kind of nice. I mean, it's nice, not like a backyard, whatever, but you're kind of forcing it into a box where it doesn't fit, in my opinion. This very epic, like over the top, dramatic music, and I just don't feel like the day looks like that to me.
No, and it's got, even the music is just, it sounds like Home Alone to me. So it's very Christmas sounding, and I'm not into it, but
there's some nice looking shots.
There's some cool things in there, but for sure. But I think definitely you have to. I also think it's too oversaturated, but that's just me. But anyway, Ray, what do you think?
I thought it was all over the place in terms of shots. The beginning was just very repetitive for me with the venue and stuff like that, and then the bride popped out of nowhere with a kind of a poor shot doing makeup, and then the next thing I know, like she's coming down the aisle, so it's kind of like everything was just being thrown in there. It's kind of like what do I call it, it's kind of like a vomit, when you vomit, everything kind of comes out for no rhyme or reason. So it's kind of like a vomit kind of edit, like nothing really made sense, nothing was flowing. I like to see a little bit more flow, and you got to remember, like, the bride is like the bride is like the main event, right? So with me, I like to kind of slowly get into introducing the bride. Like I don't want to show her face right away, especially in the dress. Like that's something you should try to lead into that, because that's like the main event. Because once you've seen that as a viewer, you're like, well, I already saw the bride in her dress. So if you kind of like, if you blow it too early on and it's too sudden and it didn't feel right, I feel like you lose like a major opportunity there. So the beginning is definitely, and like Bobby said, I think he brought up an excellent point. This was like trying to fit a box in a round hole, where like the setting was very picturesque. It's farm-like. This could have been, and I feel like the words were there, to do some great storytelling. But the music didn't need to feel like a wedding in like Chicago or something like that, or New York, like ultra epic.
Yeah.
I felt like the music choice was forced, and then the shot selection was just like all over the place.
One shot I was gonna show to you guys.
And the shots are there. Like I'm looking at the film and I see the shots. So it's not like they didn't have the opportunity to get really, really cool portrait shots, couple shots, candid moments, like all that stuff. So I feel like, there's good footage there.
They're having you guys might not be able to see it as good. They're having some really serious camera issues. And so look at this frame right here. Like the skin tones, it just looks like a totally,
the colors are way off. Like
so it's green. So look at this next shot, and this is the biggest. I tell this to everybody in the studio, and I'll say it to everyone: this shot, and then this shot.
Yeah, night and day.
You can't.
But it might be two different shooters.
It doesn't matter though, is what I was saying. I mean, yes.
Nah, I know.
They can be different cameras, different shooters. Don't put them back to back.
Yeah.
Because all it's doing is drawing attention to the bad color in the previous shot. You might be able to get away with it if you separate them.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I say something? The other thing is, this is such a jump cut because you have a bride going from being in a field to the next shot being in front of the barn house. So like as a viewer, that's kind of abrupt, right? Because you just took them from one setting to the other setting, and there's really no buffer in there.
Well, and you're implying that they're in the same.
I don't know where I'm at.
You're kind of implying that it's the same sequence, but it's not the same sequence.
It's not the same sequence. Like there's no way. So it just feels like as a viewer, you got to remember, like with these films, you should be taking the viewer on a journey of this wedding, right? And what it was all about and the experience and all that stuff. But if it just feels like you're bouncing around too much, it's just never going to flow seamlessly, you know? So, you know, they need to work on like showing that shot of the bride in the field and then cut to something else and then cut back to the bride, because at least you allow for a little bit of passage of time.
Can I show you something that's a pet peeve of mine, Ray? And like, if I walk in the studio, if I walk into the studio and my guys are editing this, I'm like, don't put that shot in there. So they're gonna do a pan down, right? And you're gonna see this stage, and it's gonna be totally off center in the frame, and it just ruins the shot for me right here. It's kind of cool. Pan down. Look at that. I can't stand that stuff. Like.
Can I recommend something else? Keep this shot right here. Keep this shot.
Yep.
You ready? They're blasting their off-camera lights so hard, it's that by the time you expose for the people on the dance floor, you've got to underexpose all of the guests and the ballroom and all that stuff. And you can see it, like I think in the last shot you had, you can see like where the couple's exposed, but you can't see anybody that's in the ballroom. Not this one, the one before. Keep going back. Right there. Yeah, that one. You see that? Everybody's pitch black because they're blasting the off-camera lights so hard that they have to expose for that light. Obviously, that's on the people dancing. But then you can't see the bride, you can't see the guests. But if they would just go subtle with that light, just give them enough light to where you can expose for it, but then you keep the room and the decor and the bride reaction and all that stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot that goes in commercial world. You'd say like that's your ratios are off, right? So your shadow to highlight ratios are off.
Yeah, you know, the way that you want to do with your off-camera lighting, you don't want to just blast it. You kind of want to match the room setting, right? So you don't lose the room, because if you blast that light, you're going to lose the room.
Well, and also you're going to get some spill on people who are close to the dance floor. And that to me is the most unflattering thing, is like the way it looks on that bride right there, where you can see the spill hitting her, and then the rest of the table just disappears. It's like,
and you can tell how hard the lights hitting them, because look at the shadows that's casting behind them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's coming from the videographer's light.
I think like I'm a little bit okay with making the room disappear if that's the look you're going for. I don't think it was the look he was going for, and especially like, I definitely think you should not. If the room is
ugly, if the room's ugly, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But this room, like, you know,
no, it looks fine. I'm with you, and I also think I never shoot on the right next to my light. I always shoot an off axis of the light, because you want shadow in your shot. Right here, you're shooting like directly beneath your light, and it's gonna look flat. Like the light is just right on them. It's just, you're just shooting like, it's like an on-camera light essentially. And the benefit of shooting like this is you can put yourself on an off axis and have shadow and highlight on the same subject. That looks nice. It adds depth. This image looks flat. So I agree with Ray. And anyway, let's just kind of see how the film ends, and then let's do some quick hits. And we're basically, what we're going to do here, guys, is Ray's going to watch the first 30 seconds of a film and just give like one or two sentences, first impressions on the film. All right, so this one ends and got kind of that little sequence right there, and yeah, there they go. They carried him. Great job. I don't have anything to say about it. People walking in, doing stuff. All right, Ray, you ready for this? Do we have a couple things lined up, Bobby?
Not specifically.
Let's see if any additional people filled out. If you want Ray to just quickly review your film, go ahead and submit it now. Okay, so we got a couple people. We got Dean Kelly, Min Kim. So why don't we do Dean Kelly really quick, huh?
Let's do it. Guys, I just posted the link. You can click that or copy paste it or whatever. I can't remember if it's clickable on chat. Submit a film now, and even if you already submitted for this week, go ahead and throw it in there again, and we'll try to do 30 seconds.
And just a reminder, if you would like to get tickets for Clarity, 10% off, go ahead and sign up with the code Ray, and we'll see you in Boston. But here's our first film. Who do we got? We got. All right. What do we got for this one? It's Dean Kelly. And he says, solo shot, multiple FX3s. Weather was against him, apparently. Which is funny because, like, I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's the whole 2020, the whole 2023 wedding season. Photographer was a nightmare. Wouldn't stop talking. About herself and her daughter.
That's most of my weddings.
Which left me a little wild audio to work with. I'm usually lean quite heavily on this, but I'm not really sure why a photographer talking would affect your audio, but
I think they're just trying to use some ambient stuff, or maybe it's like
another issue was ongoing building work on the roof. All right. Yeah, okay. I mean, excuses. We'll see if they're valid excuses, but
all right, 30 seconds. Here we go.
There we go, Ray. Hold on. Let me make sure we have audio the whole time. I'm going to give this person a cheat sheet, which is I'm going to skip the first 6 seconds of the same drone shot. So here we go.
They might have passed upon the street. How on earth did these two meet? From distant lands they shared one moon, to wedding bells from Weatherspoons. Instant simultaneous attraction. Were they shy? Just a fraction. From different corners of the world, no difference here.
All right, Ray, we're 30 seconds in.
I think the shots are really beautiful. I wouldn't have shown the shot of the person speaking because it's not a well thought out looking shot. But the words are nice. The visuals are really nice. And my first question to myself is like, are these all the best shots they shot all day long at this beautiful location? Because I'm seeing somebody's ugly hand place, some utensils on a table. That's not something that should be introduced in the first 30 seconds. Like the first 30 seconds of this thing should be like some of your best arsenal from this wedding, for sure. Do not show these weak shots. I mean, this thing has to be eye-popping for the first 30 seconds.
And I think, by the way, I agree with this philosophy. So this is what I would personally do as well, Ray. I do understand some people don't ascribe to, the banger opener.
Like an intro.
Like, some people, they want to slow play it a little bit. And you can do that. And if it works for you, I think Ray and I...
But you lose your audience.
Yes. And Ray and I's opinion is, we're business people. So we're always thinking, we want the couple to be happy. I think the couple would be happy with something that would make everyone happy, though. So I think, I always would do it. Same thing as you said, Ray.
Listen,
bring in the good stuff first.
You either want people to engage with your work or you don't. Because if it's just too slow, if it just doesn't mean much at the open, I feel like you're going to lose a lot of people, and maybe they just skip through the video like you're doing right now. But to keep them engaged to watch the entire thing, I just feel like you got to do a better job at your shot selection, the storytelling, and visuals that will keep them engaged, because the things that keep them engaged is they're sitting through, they're like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And then maybe something funny pops up that keeps them engaged. And then maybe this pops up and that keeps them engaged. Then some more beautiful visuals that keeps them engaged. But if it's just too much random shots that mean nothing, I just feel like, you're going to lose your audience.
Well, last question I'll ask you about it, Ray, is, look, this is a 12-minute film, right? Which is not my ideal, by the way. But certainly I get it that some people want it. Do you make a film that long, Ray?
You want to hear my rule?
Yeah.
Yes.
The film, this is my rule when it comes to the length of the film. The film ends when I run out of good content. You know what I mean? I don't force a film to be 12 minutes if it should have been 10, if it should have been 9, if it should have been 8. You know what I mean? So when the content ends, the film ends. I don't force anything, and it is what it is, because look, all weddings are different, right? You're going to have one wedding that's going to be loaded with speeches, personal vows, first look, candids, a beautiful ceremony. And then you're going to have another wedding where there's going to be no speeches, no first look, no personal vows, a 10-minute ceremony, a shit party. I can't make that film just as long as the banger wedding that had everything. It just doesn't make sense, you know? So like, just base the length of the films on the content. And then that way you're going to have something that's engaging all the way through. That's my rule.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, we don't, there's obviously not for everybody, but we always try to tell people, build your packages around everyone has a different style, but don't make a film in your packages that every time you make it at that length, you think it sucks.
Yeah.
Don't even make it. Don't even sell it. Like, you maybe don't do exactly what Ray did, but you definitely need to make sure that your film length is one of the most important things to making an engaging film. And if you typically find that, like, oh, I'm making a 7-minute film, and every time that last minute it's like crap and you're running out of content, then you need to sell a 6-minute film. And you need to make it shorter and shorter and shorter until the whole film is engaging, and have a strategy for it. So that's definitely. But
you know what? Hey, listen, you can also give yourself some buffer, right? So instead of saying like, okay, here's my package, and you get a 12-minute film, why not put like 10 to 12 minutes?
That's what we do, right?
So at least, yeah, so you can at least trim a couple minutes if it just doesn't have the content.
It's like a lot too. We say 4 to 6 minutes, which is like a 33% difference.
Like, dude, that 2 minutes that you can trim off is going to make all the difference in the world in terms of like the engagement, right?
Yeah. You definitely give yourself the space to make the right length film.
All right, let's move on. We have some more people submitting, so
we're gonna go quick now.
Let's try not to have full-on discussion, although that was great.
So let's do 30 seconds and Ray feedback, and then we're gonna go straight to the next one.
Love it.
Writer.
Congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in
Is there
your
another film playing? Is that me?
Before our friends and family.
What?
I was like, what? We have 2 audio tracks here?
Respect you.
Where did it go?
For 1 million more.
Turn off, you. Sorry about that, yo.
I was like, bro, that's quite a mix.
I was like, Ray's gonna bring this up.
This film is bad. It has double audio tracks.
Yeah.
Not a good thing. If you have 2 audio tracks playing concurrently, bad for your film. I think okay, here we go. We'll go back to...
Yeah, just wherever.
Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself in any direction you choose. You're on your own, and you know what you know, and you...
I'm already asleep.
...will decide where to go.
Yeah. I'm already asleep.
Yeah.
How long is this film completely? Is this is just a trailer?
5 minutes.
6?
Oh, it's 5 minutes? I mean, if this is the strongest thing they have from the entire day.
It's definitely
you know what I mean?
not. There's some, if you can see scrolling through there. It looks like some cool stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. The composition's really bad. Lighting's bad.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like...
The intro was really like... I fell asleep like after the first 5 seconds.
This is the thing.
It just wasn't enough, and I didn't feel like the kid was saying anything that was like, you know, like make you fall off your seat laughing or crying or anything like that. Like in the first seconds.
Yeah, just a poem.
It's just a very weak for a 5-minute film. That was like a very, very weak intro. So I was asleep literally. I wouldn't have watched past like 6 seconds, 7 seconds. You know, so the intro, and they have beautiful footage. Like I'm looking at the footage, they've got some footage there that would have made for a better intro, I feel. Here's the composition. Too much dead space behind the people speaking. You know, to my eyes. Compositions was really bad. Center aisle composition was bad. It was too low. It looked like they just left their gimbal on the floor filming the center aisle angle. So, you know, from a technical standpoint, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's meaningful to the couple doesn't, at the very least, like it doesn't have to hit the first beginning.
Yeah, not on a 5-minute film. Like 10, 15 minutes, okay, maybe I'll let you get away with it. but like a 5-minute film, this thing's got to be opening up like banging, and it's got to end like really, really strong.
So this is a show reel. It's a little bit of a different thing. So, you know, it's a minute. So let's just watch the whole quick show reel. I want to hear, would you invest in this
I hate show reels.
Yeah, good. Perfect. Perfect.
Can I pause it for a second?
Yes. You can just say, okay, I don't need to watch any more of this if you want.
Yeah. So look, I get the show reels. The show reels, I feel, is somebody that doesn't have enough portfolio of banger weddings that they could just sell themselves with like a complete one wedding teaser. So I get it. You know, this could be somebody just starting out and they're just grabbing kind of like some of their best shots from like several different weddings. But the way that I feel with this wedding is, look, they're just showing the same thing over and over and over again. The same medium compositions of the bride and the groom kissing. So my immediate question is like, is that like the best shots that you had from those weddings? You know, it's just like the couple standing together, really like no thought process, just like a, you know, it's kind of like, you know, a nothing shot from all these different weddings all bunched together into a sizzle reel, you know? So there was really nothing like epic and grand and like, wow, like eye-popping from wedding to wedding to wedding to wedding. It just seems like really, really repetitive. You know, it's just bride and groom, you know, like here, bride and groom, bride and groom, bride and groom, you know, the dad and the bride, which I don't get. You know,
well, so here's my question to you, Ray, about it. Here's my guess. He is marketing primarily business to customer. So he's probably mostly hitting, he's not so much wedding planners. It's like couples calling him. So if he's like trying to sell like that mid-market, low mid-market couple in Texas, do you think that they mostly want to see couples interacting because that's how they want to see themselves? Or do you think, what could someone in this market maybe show better?
Yes. But that's my point, is that they already saw that in the first couple shots that he did, but he kept doing it all throughout the sizzle. So I feel like if this is a sizzle reel, you know, like a show reel, my God, you got to be showing different stuff. You can't just be showing the same stuff that they already saw, you know, in the first 5 seconds over and over and over and over and over and over again, because people are going to care about different people. They want to see like different things that you're able to document that look exceptional.
Yeah, at the very least, maybe it's just a little too long, right?
Yeah, it's too long. It's too repetitive. You know, it's just couple. And I'm not seeing anything else. I'm not seeing like they had the one shot of the couple coming down the aisle with the bubbles. Why not cut to like a cool shot of the bubbles, you know, from a different perspective, and then come back to a couple, you know? But they keep cutting from like couple to couple to couple to couple to couple. And it's just, it was just really repetitive. And I feel like they probably have a lot better footage in their raw files that they could have grabbed some different looking content and kind of mixed it in there. So it wasn't like just, they look like jump cuts, you know, like most of the show reel just looked like jump cuts. You know, there was.
I always try to tell people with the show reel.
My question is like, where are the emotions? Where's the laughter? Where's the details? Where's the epic location shots? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was gonna. That's what I was gonna mention. Is I think they didn't show enough planner centered work, which they should show.
Yeah.
More florals, more beautiful decor, more establishing shots, and then you mix in those couples kissing and all that stuff. But like, you know, I tend to agree. And I think if it was 30 seconds long, I think, and it's just a video playing in the background of your website, that would be a lot stronger. Trying to make that a minute is tough. So we're going to skip the next one because we already reviewed this film by Ethan. So we're going to look at Chadwick Miller. I got that one up. And GH6, Sony FX3, GH5. So maybe won't get a chance to see those three cameras mixing, but I'm always curious about that with these. So here we go. Next. And we got one more after this, and I think we're going to be done.
One spring evening during our sophomore year, Chris and his friends came over to Connie's dorm in McCormick Hall to hang out for a bit. They were all nice, friendly guys. I didn't think too much of it, just a normal Tuesday, you know, whatever. But when they left, Connie was swoon. It was as if Harry Styles himself just left the room. She said, "Oh my gosh, Chris is so cute." And I said, "Really? I don't know." But it worked out for them, right? She was head over heels and there was no hiding it.
Okay. So, yeah, that's a bit of a slow burner, but what's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, right away it's too much of the bridesmaid, right? Like where's the rest of the wedding? Because she's already almost a minute in, and it's just her voice speaking. So got to mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like just have some balance here. Show some other things. The shots weren't that strong.
So here's my question about it, Ray.
You know what I wanted to see, and I don't know if they captured it. I was waiting to see the reaction of the couple sitting there to what she was saying, but I only saw their backs, which was kind of weird. So I never got a chance to see like their reactions to like the funny things the bridesmaid was saying. But this is just too much of the bridesmaid speaking. You know, like where's the vows? Where's the ceremony? Where's the other people speaking?
They lit the toast really well, though. I'll say that. But yeah, this is my question about stuff like not to say mundane, like, oh, screw these dumb people and their boring speeches, but more like, you know, like it's not overly remarkable. It's just the people speaking. How do you make a decision, Ray, when you're like kind of extracting these common moments from weddings that maybe they're not necessarily the most cinematic, they're not the best, maybe not the most well-spoken, but you know it's meaningful to the couple? Because my thing when I was listening to her is like, it's just not that interesting of a story to me. The story she was telling is not that interesting. And I understand
it was too long.
People feel like they have to, I think. What's your feeling on like what to include, not to include, all that stuff?
So look, this is my philosophy in the edit, right? In terms of speeches, because you never know what they're going to say, right? And some people say like stuff that's pretty strong that you could use for good storytelling, and then some other people, it's just like very random stuff that they're saying. It's not really stuff that's strong for storytelling. So my method is the strong stuff goes towards the beginning. The random stuff goes towards the end, mixed in with the party stuff, right? Because then I just got to use like a few seconds of whatever they said, and I'm showing them in the film. So I'm filling my obligation to the client, right? Like I need to show everything that happened, but I don't need to show weaker stuff at the beginning. You know, I can just mix it in with the party stuff. It's quick, it's fast. I can get it out of the way. I cover my bases, and then it's done. And then the strong stuff, I'm going to move towards the beginning.
There's a lot of beautiful stuff in here. Just we're not watching the whole thing, but I've just been had it on, and I just wanted to let the filmmaker know. Really,
they got great shots.
They got some really pretty shots. I like a lot of the silhouetting that they chose to do. I think that's so. Ray, I'm just gonna play this one really quick, and I'm just gonna see your thoughts on this one, Ray. Tell me how you feel about this one.
This unique moment in both of your lives. As you continue your journey, co-evolving, distinct, but intertwined, your bond will only deepen.
You know you're in love when you can't fall asleep because reality is finally better.
Can you stop it for a second?
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, man, this is a classic example of something that's been really, really well thought out. I mean, like, it's just as fast paced as it is, it's just flowing smoothly, you know? Like I'm feeling it with the music. I'm feeling it with the words, the crescendos in the music. Everything just fits like a glove. So this is just something that's been manicured. I can tell you, whoever edited this has spent time manicuring like almost like every frame of this thing.
That was me.
I was just gonna say, is this Jay's film?
Bastard. You bastard, you got me. I would have thrashed it if I would have known it was yours.
Yeah,
that film sucks.
Bad. Wait till you hear the custom score I made for it.
Another
cheating,
time.
man.
Next time we have Ray on, and we'll let him know.
I honestly thought you were gonna rip it, so I'm glad it was good. Helicopter.
Everything I said was a lie.
Yeah, I take it all back. All right, is this Alex Jackson?
Yeah. Let's just do this one last.
Let's go. Yeah, just start. Yeah, right here.
Yeah. Oh, this one has a helicopter involved, so I like that.
I do like helicopters.
Too many mountain shots. I already saw the mountains.
Me too. It's over. We're done.
Oh, I think we're gonna keep going.
I'm seeing the blades. No. Come on.
As I stand here, I am hit with an immense wave of emotions.
Pretty though.
Very beautiful.
From the first message I ever sent.
A lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the best feedback you're gonna get from this is, it's cool that you went in a helicopter. We get it. So just get to this beautiful stuff sooner.
Because this is gorgeous.
Really pretty. Yeah. Great setting, beautiful people.
And this is only 2 minutes. So imagine the time you waste, time wasted showing mountains that meant nothing. They meant something for one shot, but not like 3 or 4 shots.
Yeah, it's not like they shouldn't be in the film.
Yeah,
but they shouldn't take up the first.
Especially when you got good-looking people in a beautiful place, which is not a given. Yeah. So good stuff. So, all right, Ray. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and it means so much to the community that people like you are willing to invest in us. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you for essentially kind of putting luxury wedding filmmaking on the map and paving a path for all of us. And so if you want to check out and hang out with Ray and myself and Bobby and Kyle and Adam Grumbo, we're going to be in Boston. So sign up for Clarity. I know it's a lot of money, but I always tell people, invest in yourself, and that's the best return you're ever going to have on an investment, is investing in yourself and spending time with the right people in the right settings. So
I will say, on top of everything that we have planned, which is going to be awesome, like, I don't think you can understate the being around other creatives at a high level who are producing high level work and run a successful business is like, if you're burnt out, I know that's one of our things, recharge, whatever. And there is some of that will definitely be a part of it. But there's also that aspect of like, if you need that motivation, at least for me, and this might be a me thing, but being around other people in that same industry, other high level folks in that industry, is super motivating for me to bounce ideas off each other, to get that one-on-one coaching, and just get inspired to go into the 2024 season.
We're really excited. But Ray, thank you so much. You want to leave anybody with any thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I just built my website.
Yeah.
On a platform called pixieset.com, and I'm super happy with it. You can check it out. It's www.rayromanfilms.com. Let me know what you think. I did it myself. I'm not going to pay anybody to do something I can do myself, but I think it's my objective with my website is to have something that looks clean. It exudes a little bit of luxury, and it gives clients 2 things: access to watch my films and hopefully fall in love, and a contact page. That's it. I try not to clutter it with a bunch of junk that means nothing. So check it out, rayromanfilms.com.
You also got a workshop coming up next year with a bunch of really cool people you should let people know about.
Yeah, I have a really cool workshop coming up in Fort Lauderdale with Sharon from Fiore Films, and a really nutty character, Justin Porter from Justin Porter Media. He is a wild man, but I know you're going to get some stuff from that guy. You just got to think outside the box a little bit, and check it out. You can actually from rayromanfilms.com as well.
Yes.
Jay, we had a request to bring Justin Porter on as a guest reviewer.
I would think that would be so funny to watch. I don't know.
He would rip everything.
I don't know Justin Porter. So.
You guys would be begging for Ray to come back on.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude! He'll rip everything to shreds. He'll probably rip my shit to shreds. So yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the show. If you don't mind, drop a like on this as you're watching. If you liked it, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. We just dropped a video yesterday about cool post zooms in Final Cut Pro. So if you're looking for some Final Cut Pro tips, and then we're dropping a review tomorrow of the brand new Lumix Macro 100mm, which is a really cool lens. So definitely stay tuned with everything we got going at Wedding Film School. And again, Ray, thank you so much for coming on. And guys, have a great week.
See you.
See you guys.